and subscribe.
What the hell did you do that for?
I'm sorry, but you stink. You need a wash.
Actually, this is my natural musk. Real men don't need showers. They have pheromones.
Ugh, I've had enough of you.
He poisoned our water supply, burned our crops, and delivered a plague unto our houses!
He did?
No, but are we just gonna wait around until he does? Hey! Now what?
My answer to Somalians was that the United States government will only do what Somalians in the United States tell them to. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interest of Somalia. We Somalians must have that confidence in ourselves that we call for the shots in the United States. We live in the United States, pay taxes in the United States, and have a real voice in the United States.
I don't know how to do anything else.
Neither do I.
I don't much want to either.
Neither do I.
Working and smart, our glorious leader with the lion's heart. Bomb at the UN, red lines, he draws strong like the dome, shielding the night against the foes. He fights the fight. US, please send more money to Israel. Israel needs more money. We are Israel. 이스라엘가 다이스키 네타니야후 모
Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. I think we're all good. I know. Everybody's complaining. John, you're 20 minutes late. What are you, black? No, even worse, gay. It's CZ month. I mean, come on. I apologize, though. Vacation went well. A little bit of technical difficulties getting back into the office with the mobile supply, turning back into the stationary streaming setup. It's all going well. Actually, that's true. That's true, Joshua. Technically, I was 24 hours late. 24 hours late. What's on the mic? Don't worry about it. I don't know what it is. Do you know what it is? I don't. I found it in here. I'm keeping it. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a wonderful Saturday night. Sorry for being 24 hours late. I had a very busy yesterday getting back from travel. Flights with 3 children, getting in at 5 o'clock in the morning, driving 5 hours, picking up guns, getting back here. And I mostly slept yesterday. It was great. It was fantastic. And then I turned around and woke up this morning to go shoot a match at 8 o'clock in the morning, which I won. But still, it was a lot, okay? And I'm late. I'm getting stuff ready. It's okay. You guys don't mind. You guys don't. All right. Yes. You guys can tell. I saw some of you guys posting in the Discord. The Carnicon support shirts showed up yesterday, showed up today for a lot of us, which is super cool. I am very, very glad that, they're coming out. They're actually getting product to people and that you guys chose to support. And good news, actually. They've extended the campaign a little bit longer. You can get it in different colors, too. Or actually, I think maybe they're out of the black ones. Ooh, that's too bad. Maybe they're out of the black ones. Oh, well. But the campaign ends in 3 days. You guys have raised a little bit over $1,000 with the shirts and hoodies. I'll go ahead and drop that link in the chat for all of you wonderful people if you're interested in picking up some merch to support Jordan Derrick, also known as Dugan Ashley. Now, I will say, I had a phone call with Dugan today from the Missouri Penitentiary where he is currently residing. He's doing well. They're in pretty good spirits, all things considered. He's optimistic, looking forward. He's having some trouble coordinating with the lawyers. We got maybe a couple lawyers on the case now that are helping him out. The jail is not being particularly conducive to allowing them to communicate, which, I mean, the American legal system, if you're non-ethnic, is not particularly kind to you, especially when dealing with feds. So he's having a bit of issues there that we're trying to currently resolve. But as the way he views the case, the way some of the other people view the case, he is not interested really in taking a plea deal. He's not interested in anything other than fighting and clearing his name as of right now. So that is quite good to hear. Now, I'll also drop the link here for his legal defense fund, which, of course, if you want to donate just directly to his lawyer, essentially, this is the way to do that. $81,000 already raised, which is fantastic. And there are, of course, alternative options. I can't link it here, unfortunately, but I can link my X account, which has the link for a certain sort of bidding site that has things that you could acquire to support Dugan as well. And some of you guys have massively stepped up to put down some insane bids on certain items, you know, a few of his prized possessions, so to speak. And I really appreciate you guys doing that and, you know, getting some cool bit of history in the process as well. Now, in the phone call today, he also mentioned that, again, he's trying to coordinate with his lawyers and whatnot, but he also wants to, at some point, this would kind of be like a cool thing to happen for him to actually be able to talk to you, would be to do either a live interview, which is just me and him talking on a cell phone recorded with a mic, right? Or to actually, you know, do it live or to do it pre-recorded in some way, shape, or form in the next couple of weeks, as long as he can talk to his lawyers and clear what he can and can't say. So hopefully there will be an opportunity shortly for you guys to actually interact with him in a semi-live environment, ask any questions, support anything like that, and also just for him to get his message out there and to thank the people directly who have helped him out so much. So that is the quick update with Dugan Ashley. All things considered, you know, being behind bars and waiting till at least August for trial while you're not able to talk to your lawyers, while you're not able to physically talk with any of your loved ones and you're ripped away from your family. All things considered, he's doing well enough. So prayers for Dugan, greatly appreciated. Check out my X account. Check out the direct give, send, go for the legal defenses. And also, if so inclined, go ahead and check out a shirt, hoodie, or alternative to support the boys in need. All right. No, I know those bidders, those guys. Woo, buddy. Some of them are going wild on a couple of options. Good for them. Good for them. Dogwater Tactical got his shirt in the mail today, which is absolutely fantastic. All right. What you know what else is going fantastic? Not for us. Not for anyone really. Not really even for Israel, honestly. Like their public reputation was never great, okay? But it's taken a bit of a hit. It's taken a large hit, an oversized hit, you could say. Because as of today, due to the ongoing strikes in Lebanon, where Israel is targeting the largest Christian population in the Middle East, that being Lebanon. I think there's about 1 million Christians in Lebanon. Due to their continued striking in Lebanon against Hezbollah and many such targets, many such very, very important targets, hiding behind children and whatnot. Iran has used that as leverage to say, okay, no, we're actually closing this strait again. Now, this is after... theoretically, we were supposed to sign peace treaty. What was it, tomorrow? We were supposed to sign like officially, or we did sign last week, or it's supposed to be finalized on Friday. I forget how the schedule is going, honestly, but I don't think that the ceasefire/peace agreement is all that ceasefire-y or all that peaceful. So it seems like it's a peace ceasefire in name only at this point in time. So I don't really think the things are going well for anyone. Now, here's a clip from earlier that I personally just find funny. Okay, so you got Rubio in the back, you got Howard Lutnick, funny, strange man, good friends with Jeff Epstein. Just weird that he's always in the back behind Trump, but nothing to see here. I'm sure it's all just well and good. But here's him, Trump, that is, joking about blaming JD Vance if it all goes sideways. Keep in mind, this was 3 days ago, right before it all went sideways. So it's just one of those things that doesn't age all that well sometimes.
If it works out, I'm going to take the credit. If it doesn't work out, I'm blaming JD. You better be careful, JD. He's going to turn his plane around and get the hell out of here. Yeah, I like that idea. I think it's a good idea. This way, if it works out, I'm going to take the credit. If it doesn't work out, I'm blaming JD. You better be careful, JD. He's going to turn his plane around and get the hell out of here. Yeah, I like that idea. I think it's a good idea.
I mean, obviously, this is just Trump being Trump and being funny. But at the same time, I also feel like there might be a bit of truth to it. Trump himself personally will try to blame anyone else, and JD Vance will try and distance himself from it as much as possible because, of course, JD is trying to run. We got the midterms coming up in like 4 months, 4.5 months. We've got 2028 election basically around the corner as far as all that sort of stuff goes. So anything that looks bad on JD now is going to be brought up and used against him during 2028, during the general and the main election as well, right? So again, I feel like JD and Mr. Trump are trying to avoid the negative consequences of their actions as much as possible. Now, another little funny thing, this is, I guess, spicier rhetoric than normal, although it's still like basically meaningless, right? If you believe what Marco Rubio says about them getting us into the war in the first place, the New York Times article, everything else going on that coerced us into doing this nonsense action. You can talk tough all you want, Mr. Vance, but I mean, you are the vice president of the US, so I prefer you actually just, do something about it rather than, tough rhetoric, because tough rhetoric doesn't matter anything on Israel, right? You're like, oh, we're going to cut them off. We're going to have a real serious conversation when you could be one of the guys just kind of doing it, right?
What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you've seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal and in some ways very personally attacked the president of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower.
Now, I don't know if that's entirely true because it seems like Israel has a pretty strong influence in a lot of countries in the West and, South America and India and just, lots of places. Okay. It's crazy how many people they have influence with around the world. It's almost like they're overrepresented for how small of a part of the population they truly are. Right. So also, they say that, well, Trump is the only one that's your friend. Trump is the only one that can help you. It seems like he's got the relationship backwards because it seems like Israel doesn't care what Trump says, but Trump cares about what Bibi says, about whatever Bibi can convince him to do, right? So it seems like that relationship only goes one way. They say, hey, this is a great idea. You should totally attack Iran with us. We do it. We tell them, hey, you should stop bombing Lebanon so that we can get a peace deal and open up the Strait of Hormuz. And then they're like, nah, no thanks. Why would we do that? It doesn't benefit us at all. You're crazy. Okay, greater Israel, dog. So again, it seems like that relationship only ever goes one way.
If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you've seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal and in some ways very personally attacked the president of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump.
Anyways, I don't need to hear that again. That is just Vance kind of coping around again as he is technically, second in command, leader of the free world, hopeful for the future as well. Does not bode well for his future in politics if the situation does not resolve quickly and resolve amicably for at least Western powers. Because I got to be real, I don't much care what happens in the Middle East all that much, right? I mean, there's certain things that I'm interested in, certain holy sites in the Middle East that I would like to be maintained and Christian as much as possible. But as for the other players around and whatnot, not really that much of my concern. I'm much more focused on my own people here for the time being. Now, speaking of, I know, it sucks to always come back to this, but we are going to talk about guns and gun stuff a little bit, okay? Because I was gone for a couple weeks. Before I left, I ordered a couple of things. I got some random stuff in the mail, and I guess we're going to go ahead and talk about it a little bit. I also should note that I have some major competitions coming up. Major matches are essentially just like more important, I suppose. They're usually a lot longer, they're a lot more expensive, the stages are more difficult, and there's a lot better competitors at, level 2, level 3 matches, so on and so forth. So you should probably take them a little bit more serious because it's a much larger investment. Now, it being June and all, that being the honorary month for CZ owners around the world, I unfortunately am going to be gamering out with a Shadow 2 and running it pretty hard. So this next week, I have a major match down in Iowa, I want to say. So this week alone, I think I'm putting 3,000 rounds through the Shadow 2. So I'll be hitting that, I think, 500 rounds a day until next Saturday. And then I also have a couple of new guns that are in. Now, unfortunately, because I am going to be taking the major match season fairly seriously, trying to actually get my money's worth out of the match fees and driving and public embarrassment when I do poorly on my practice score, so on and so forth, I will be taking that very seriously. So I will kind of be doing a lot more boring shooting, which just means consistently shooting the same gun over and over and over again, which as a degenerate YouTuber, I absolutely hate being faithful to one gun. Now, I'm not degenerate like some other YouTubers are, where they're, have trouble being faithful to one person. However, I do find it difficult, okay, to shoot the same gun over and over and over again. Okay, not that other problem, but with guns, yeah, definitely a little bit problematic. But it being again June, honorary CZ month, I did get a CZ P10C ported, and I also got the Rost Martin RM1C. I've been playing around with them for a bit, and man, they both feel like really cheap polymer framed striker fired handguns that has a port on top. Not a lot to report. They're pretty unexciting. They both technically take the same style of magazines, though the Rost Martin magazines will not fit in a P10C, though the P10C magazines, the way that the grip is contoured, will fit in the RM1C. So fortunately, I only had to buy like $200 worth of CZ P10C magazines. That would have been a big mistake if I bought the Rost Martin magazines. That would have been the big dumb, because again, they're not compatible with the P10C. So, they're all right. They're going to have some optics on it. They're going to be okay. You'll see videos on them probably in the next couple of weeks when I get some more filming done with them, when I get some more time behind them. The Rost Martin subjectively feels like a little bit worse. The trigger's a little bit grittier. The frame feels very cheap. The texture is very minimal. The texture is still minimal on the P10C, but the texture it does have is much more aggressive, and the trigger feels like a little bit nicer. It does also feel a little different because the CZ P10C ported comes with a heavy barrel. So it is a heavy, thick barrel that then gets ported and backbored. So the actual barrel portion of itself is a lot thicker than like a standard, Glock or whatever else it might be. So there is a lot less reciprocating weight, because that also takes weight out of the slide. And the serrations are nicer. It feels subjectively like a little bit nicer. They're both very inexpensive. And fortunately, the magazines are also not too terribly expensive. So I can, I think I got 10 mags for like 200, something like that. So it wasn't like too bad of a upcharge on top of the handguns themselves. So those will be coming to the channel, or not this channel, but to the Gun.Deals channel in the next couple of weeks. Be on the lookout for that. In terms of gun news, I don't know. Are you guys interested? I know I just finished talking about the fact that I bought 2 polymer framed striker fired handguns. I think the total of both of them was like 800, 900. Like, they're very inexpensive. The Rost Martin RM1C is like 350, and the CZ P10C ported is like 450. So I think it was 850-ish, something in 850 to 900 units of measure for those 2. However, Staccato, you guys love Staccato, right? Staccato is your guys' jam. You guys are like Staccato bros, okay? Maybe June should be Staccato month now that I'm thinking about it. But They're not releasing it yet. It hasn't even been announced yet. Okay. I got the inside scoop from a little bird in the know. Okay. But they are going to be unveiling soon enough their, what is it called? The P4X? Yeah, I think it's the P4X. So the P4X, this is Randy Reviews it posted the screenshot here. But the P4X is a Glock 45 sized handgun. So if you're not familiar with the HD line from Staccato, the HD line is essentially a drop safe Series 70 trigger, Series 80 trigger, whichever one it is. Again, I'm not a Staccato guy. And it's also Glock magazine fed, which is like, okay, you know, that's novel. That allows police officers and agencies to switch over to a Staccato a little bit more efficiently, considering a lot of them already have those magazines on hand, so they don't have to buy proprietary, you know, $80, $90, $100 magazines. Now, that being said, they also came out with some of the Staccato Cs. Now, Staccato Cs are the compact size handgun, which is this one right here, right? So we have a, what is this, a 4-point-inch comp barrel. So I think it's a 3.6 with a comp, 24 ounces, aluminum framed, 15 round grip. So it's a Glock 19-ish sized handgun. Really, it's like a Glock, again, more like a Glock 45. Now, with the new one, also, I should mention that Staccato's, I think Staccato's pricing is insane, personally. So the standard handguns go for roughly like 25 hundo, 2500 for like the standard models. This one, as you see it here, the C4X, the CX4, whatever they call this. C4X, the C4X HD is 3500 for a polymer grip, aluminum frame, 4-inch ported gun. Now the new one, okay, the new one, which is way cooler and way different. The main difference is that this one has a full-length grip, but it has a full-length 17-round grip. So think again, what, a Glock 45? This one, allegedly, again, same polymer frame. This one does have a steel frame. Sorry, polymer grip, because they're two-piece. Polymer grip, steel framed on the P4X is 5,500. Yes, lost. So the Staccato C4X is 35. The Staccato P4X, which is again a full-size grip, allegedly retail is going to come in at 5,500. 5,500. And it's not like listen, there are guns out there that are like, oh, I get it, that's expensive. It's a, you know, it's a one-piece machined grip and it's all this other stuff like in conjunction with it. But this is a, for lack of a better word, a standard Staccato, like build quality, machine quality, parts quality Staccato, which again retails for like 25, marked up over double, steel frame, polymer gripped, nothing special. That's how their standard Ps are anyways. It's got a comp on the end, which again, even the what's the gun, what's the other one, the XC, the big one, the big XC, that one there's like 45, like 4,500. So them trying to get away with a duty focused mid-size, you know, essentially Glock 19 with a ramjet on it, and trying to charge over $5,000 for it is absolutely insane. Senior says it's expensive because it's built for heroes. True, yeah. You want to be a hero? You want to be a hero, then you're going to be, you know, putting out the big bucks. Okay. Randy Reviews, it says with the 550, I've heard that includes the Trijicon HD. Well, that's actually worse because the Trijicon HD is a terrible optic. Lost Arrow says, holy shit, gotta respect Staccato for scamming retards, law. Yeah, that's a lot of money right there. A lot of money. Absolutely not. Like in no way, shape, or form would I ever buy something like this. Because to me, Staccatos don't shoot much better than a Glock. Like they're not much softer shooting than a Glock. Like when you think about it, it's still shooting 9mm. They weigh like 4 ounces more than a Glock. They're 5x the cost, and like there's just a lot of wacky things going on with them. If you really have to have a hammer fired Glock 45 sized carry gun, it's like why are you carrying this? Why? Like this is a dentist gun. This is something that people with really low skill, high expendable income buy, and they're like, this is really cool, and it shoots so soft because it's a 34 ounce 2011 with a comp on the end. You're like, yep. Can they shoot? No. Do they ever carry it? No. Why would you ever carry something like this? No. But I mean, listen, I think their pricing has been insane for a while because again, this is the compact, so the 3.6 with or the 4-inch with the comp, 15 round grip. That's $35, which to me is still like insane, and that's with an aluminum grip. So this gun is like actually Glock weight for a 2011 with a comp on it. Like at that point, dudes, just get the Radian Ramjet. Like I know it's a meme, but just get the 19, just get the 45, just get the 17 with a Ramjet. Just get a Ramjet, okay? You'll have the exact same user experience, but you'll probably end up with a more reliable setup, right? Especially if you're like even mildly price sensitive. Like just get the Ramjet. Just get a Ramjet. Lockheed Martin, thanks for showing up, man. Biggest sponsor of the channel, by the way, Lockheed Martin. I think their cheapest gun is a P, just the standard Staccato Ps, and I think they retailed new for $25. I believe that's correct. Let me see. If we just grab a Staccato P and we just look at it, yeah, 25. 25 is the base model before anything, right? And this is like Logan shoots these. So if you're not familiar with Staccatos, like this is the generic Staccato. This is a Staccato P, retails for 25 without any sort of additionals. I personally don't think these are worth 25. Like I think these shoot worse than my Shadow. I think these shoot worse than a lot of other guns on the market for like double the cost, right? And as somebody who's going to shoot like legitimately $1,000 worth of ammo this week, if not a little more, when I factor in like some of the rifle shooting I'm going to be doing, like I wouldn't drop this much money on a gun, on not any gun. Sorry, I would drop that much money on a gun, just not a Staccato, because I don't think Staccato does anything special, and I'm not that in love with 2011s. All right. Well, that is the Staccato news. Is that exciting, guys? I don't think a single person in my audience is excited about a P4X. Like not a single human being. Like if you've ever wanted to spend 8x the cost of a Glock 45 Radian Ramjet combo, if you've ever wanted to get the exact same performance with 8x the cost, well, today's your lucky day. Today's your lucky day, bros. All right. You know what else is lucky today, bros? Is the fact that it ended. And the fact that it ended so long ago for one Sig Sauer. Now, here you see a new range banning the Sig Sauer P320, saying the Sig P320 is banned on this range. And I have, I've seen this popping up more and more. Really, it hasn't stopped over the last 12 months. It's just one of those things that once the ball gets rolling in this direction, it's really not going to stop. It's really not going to stop, dudes. And I was kind of joking around with a buddy today on the range at the match that because of the allegations concerning the P320, if a range allows you to shoot the P320 at it, it should be mandatory. And I mean this, I'm not even joking. If a range is going to allow you to shoot the P320 on their premises, it is mandatory that it is filmed like up close in HD every single time the gun is drawn or holstered. And I mean that. I'm not even joking, okay? It must be recorded during the draw and holster, up close, minimum of HD, preferably 4K, okay? Because we get so many of these stories that, listen, it's like, hey, that guy with the P320, he's about to draw. It's like, okay, Jim, your job today, got to record the draw and when he holsters it. especially if it's a hot holstering, like at a steel challenge match where you have like 5, 6, 7 strings to do, you know, or whatever it is. I don't shoot steel challenge, okay? But for those of you who do shoot steel challenge and you do hot reholstering, well, that is a perfect storm of getting shot in the leg with a P320. So I just think if ranges are going to allow it, mandatory, you must absolutely have that thing recorded during the draw and the holstering process up close in HD in 4K. Okay. Hey, Vintage Warfare is in the chat wishing us a happy Juneteenth, a whole day late. Very black coded. Very, very black coded. Hope you're doing well, though, man. Hope you're having a good weekend. Good, sir. But anyways, this was sent to me yesterday. So if I had gone live yesterday on June 13th, 19th, whatever day it is, I would have covered this then. But say, Libby, we're a day late. All right. Well, so this is from Patrick Gorilla Man. Now, I actually got a message from the guy who was there, who allegedly witnessed it. So we've talked a little bit in the past. That being said, okay, I am going to extend him the benefit of the doubt, right? When it comes to is he telling the truth or not? I'm not going to call him a liar. I'll let Hop do that, right? But that's just to say that sometimes when you're in a shooting environment, when you're doing stuff like I've thought that I've seen things that I haven't, like when I'm going through a fast array of targets and I'm shooting, I'm like, oh, that was too alpha. That was too alpha. You get to the end and then they're calling like Alpha Mike in the back. And you're like, no. I saw 2 holes in that target. It's like, well, you didn't, John. You were just moving and you saw what you wanted to see. And then after the fact, you're like, post hoc justifying it to yourself. And it's like, well, maybe things aren't always as they seem. That being said, in this case, I will just extend the benefit of the doubt that what this individual is saying is accurate. So he goes on to say, this will probably be the news story on everyone's feed tomorrow, which is actually today. But I was physically present, as were 20 other people. I just watched a P320 shoot someone in the leg completely uncommanded. It happened right in front of me. I didn't hear a pop and turn around to see the aftermath. I directly watched it with my own eyes. Indoor steel match at Copandero Gun Range in Houston, Texas. I had to run it and hit the range's emergency. I had to run and hit the range's emergency medical alert with a friend of mine, Puju. Now, Puju sounds funny, but Puju is, well, of course, former IDF. He has some training. He is kind of big in the gun space in a couple of sectors. Big fan of IWI, of course. Also called out Garantham for anti-Semitism after Garantham like mildly criticized Israel. So that's really gay. That's really gay. But anyways, he was there and he cut off the pants to apply a tourniquet because, that's what you're supposed to do, I guess, to be super tactical. Always cut the pant leg off. It's not a bad move, okay? But I'm just saying, it's a little over the top sometimes. All right. Dude had a P320 X5 Legion, seemed completely stock. He didn't even have an optic on it yet. The match allowed hot reholstering. I don't recommend this and cleared my gun like I was at a USPSA match. And that's because, again, at a steel challenge match, you're allowed to hot reholster. Sometimes I think you have 5 strings in the exact same location, right? So no movement, 5 strings. You do it over and over and over and over again. So sometimes they allow you to reholster hot. In a USPSA match, the only time the gun is hot in the holster is right before you drop, right? All right, let's see here. The match allowed hot reholstering. Perfectly normal holster. Finger out of the trigger guard. He went to reholster after the 4th or 5th stage. I think he means 4th or 5th string. So towards the end of a string, which could be like 100 rounds, right? 100 rounds would be a lot. Could be like anywhere between like 25 and 55 rounds usually for 5 strings. And right as there's that little jiggle as the gun slots in, I watched it detonate right into his thigh from 15 feet away. I was in the middle of clapping for him because he just had a good run. Then blam. Now, 15 feet away is not far, but it's also not particularly close. So for me, if I'm like looking generically at a person from 5 yards away, am I looking like at their index finger from 15 yards away as I'm clapping for them? Like, honestly, depending, like maybe he was staring at the gun just because guys are attracted to, moving objects, and guns are, being reholstered. Sometimes you just stare at the most interesting object around. And so maybe he was staring at the gun as it went back into the holster, and he noted that the finger was outside the entire time. But if I'm just like generically looking at a person 15 feet away, could I recollect exactly what their finger was doing? Maybe. Would I put my life on it? Like, again, unless I was actually intentionally staring at his finger the entire time, that's a tough sell. That is a tough sell. So 15 feet away, I was in the middle of clapping for him because he just had a good run, and then blam. Now, the range itself did everything right. They had a comprehensive safety brief, pointed out that the EMS alert on the wall had medical equipment on standby, cleared everyone off the range, and rendered aid immediately. Ambulance was there in 5 minutes. I do not hold them responsible. This one is on Sig. Get the F away from those guns. F Sig right in Ron Cohen's stupid effing facehole. I hope you and your upper management get lengthy prison sentences for criminal negligences. I just had one of your guns fire through a human being and slam around into a concrete floor 15 feet from my face. Fight me. Now, he is obviously not particularly happy. He is particularly spicy there, okay? I mean, a little bit of a strenuous circumstance. You have to quickly apply a tourniquet to somebody who's bleeding out in front of you. I understand the impulse to be angry and to want to take that out on someone like Ron Cohen, who is, of course, not only the face and CEO of Sig Sauer in a lot of ways, but also, somebody who has repeatedly denied any sort of issues or problems with the gun. And as the head of the company, a lot of that responsibility does fall upon his shoulders. Now, moving on from there a little bit. So this was posted just a few hours ago. Boy, what a completely insane 36 hours. So for anyone who doesn't know, I watched a P320 turn into a Decepticon and try to delete a man in the middle of the match. Now, if you're interested in the exact nature of the wound, allegedly, if you have a holster in front of your thigh because you're like a little bit of a gamer, what happened is the bullet went through the top of the thigh, right? Like this, and then out next to the knee. So in and out. Now, fortunately, there wasn't, a foot hit or something else. It could have been even worse, but it went through basically his entire quad. So from the top of the thigh down out to about the knee, fortunately not hitting the knee. So basically straight through the muscle of the quad all the way down. Not great. Not fantastic. The dude who got hurt was newer to competition, shooting, but he was doing everything right, going at his own pace, asking for advice, listening, being careful, and genuinely, they're improving himself. Exactly what we encourage people to do. I was in the middle of cheering him when it happened. Now, this is another one of those things where I'm like, you were 15 feet away. Were you actually staring at his trigger finger to make sure that it was not accidentally egressed into the trigger guard? Was there some other possible item that could have been in there? I'm just asking questions here. I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just asking questions here, okay? That's all. That's all I'm doing. Also, when you say, he was a newer shooter, I'm like, well, anybody can make a mistake, but I would say the likelihood goes up at least a little bit with you being a newer shooter, a little bit more uncomfortable, and maybe you just make a mistake because, you're new to the whole thing. It's a new gun. You haven't shot it very much. You don't have a lot of experience with it. I'm like, all right, it's nothing definitive, but it's maybe a contributing factor here. All right, I have been in communication with friends of his and have confirmed he is doing okay and expected to recover. Also, that his gun was stock. And the model of holster is completely unremarkable. That's an insult to the holster manufacturer right there. Seeing him get hurt the way that he did through no fault of his own, and seeing how many ways the rest of us could have gotten hurt, knowing the potential legal trouble for the range it could cause, and knowing that Sig's complete failure to take accountability is what facilitated it, got me pissed. In my anger, I posted about what happened, as did some of the other witnesses. I figured a few hundred people might see just another P320 go bang story, which is actually funny that at this point in time, it kind of is just another P320 go bang story, right? It has a lot of the similar earmarkings of the ones that we've seen before, almost too many similarities, okay? Each one individually might just be a one-off, but when you start to compile them all together with almost the exact same story every time, and it's like, I don't know, bro. All right. I've been shrieked at, called a liar, told not to believe, told not to believe what I saw, and had every turnip IQ'd, cheddar brained Sig chimp, dude. Turnip IQ'd, cheddar brained Sig chimp. That's actually good. Sig chimp. Screech every dumb explanation for what happened a human being can imagine at me in a nonstop cavalcade of hooting idiocy since Thursday night. I have now decided that not all humans deserve rights. Based? Truth nuke right there. Okay. Siggers belong in camps. Siggers belong in camps. Not all humans deserve rights. Bro, we are hitting just all of the truth nukes immediately. Damn, son.
Yeah.
Damn.
Excellent work right there. Based? Yeah. Now, again, it's one of those things where it's like the story on its own. Do I personally believe it? Yeah. Like, I believe that he's not lying to me intentionally. I think he might be incorrect, right? It's possible, okay? But it's also very possible that the Sig did just do Sig things and go off into the guy's leg, right? I wasn't there. Unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be video of it. And if there is, indoor range video of it, it's going to be from like 20 or 30 feet away. It's going to be gross. It's going to be grainy. It's not going to have a close-up view of the holster, which is what we all want to see, right? So this is all I'm saying, okay? Ranges. Every single range out there. If you choose to allow the P320, which will not make your insurance company happy, but if you choose to do so, you should require it to be filmed during the draw and holster process, okay? Because all it takes is just one guy, just one hero out there to record your local P320 going off, and you win $1 gazillion, and probably not, but you win $1 gazillion, and then the P320 gets banned everywhere. Okay, so take one for the team and film your local P320, okay? I know there's like catch your local predator and stuff like this, but we got big things to deal with here, okay? This is called catch your local P320. Film your local P320, okay? So we need to get used to that, okay? We have to get out there, get the cameras out, and record the P320 going off in HD, 4K preferably, because I want to believe, okay? John, why does your hair grow so fast? Dude, I shaved this morning. So I have the curse of Norwood 4, but really fast growing hair. So yeah, maybe this is just going to be a really weird look in like 10 years where I have like no like top hair at all, but it's all just like growing super long on the sides, Not sure what to do with it, but thank you, Coral Weezer. Thank you. LSX SS says the MT6 group loves Focus Trip. LOL. Well, again, somebody commented about like, oh, I thought you would be in that group. I don't know what they are. I don't have a Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. So if it's a Facebook group, I'm not a part of it. I don't know who they are. Anytime I have to use Facebook, it's like a screenshot. Somebody will send me a screenshot of something from there. So the 308 supremacist says John is asking us to put our lives at risk for his enjoyment. I would never, okay? This is a sacrifice I am willing to make, okay? You guys go and get the footage and we'll share in the rewards, okay? You take the risks, share in the rewards, right? It's fair trade. It's a very, very fair trade. I'm not going anywhere near a 320. It's a cancer flex group. Of course Kodiak is in it. They're literally the blacks of the handgun world. All right. Fair enough. Whatever that means. But you know what? Speaking about SIGs and things going boom when they're not supposed to, sir, a second broken suppressor, a broken SIG-esser, SIG suppressor, SIG-esser, SIG-ilencer, silencing, suppressing, Suppressig? There's got to be a better way to say that. Anyways, we have another one. Another XM250 or M250 launches a can after the locking collar doesn't do the whole locking bit, and then it shoots it midair, which is kind of funny. So from an anonymous follower, another M250 launched its own can downranged and finished it off by catching a round. This one was reportedly installed correctly, but was unlocked during a live fire exercise. This seems to be becoming a pattern that the Army and SIG should investigate if they are not already doing so. Now, this is why every SIG story, like on its own, isn't all that interesting. Like, let's be real. Every individual story is like, oh, that could be a one-off. That could be that could be this. That could be something else. You know, you can explain any one instance away. But when you're like, oh, we have like 191 alleged incidents of the handgun going off on its own, it's like, well, that's a lot. And with rapidity and, you know, some of them on camera, and it's like, you know, like the gate guard one where he just has his hand on the gun and it goes off. It's like, you know, it's a long ways away, but still pretty convincing until an alternative explanation has been provided, right? So that's the P320. And then you're like, oh, the M7. It's like, oh yeah, the one where they almost certainly, you know, bribed officials and gave payouts and jobs to people so that they could get this big contract. And then you have like the barrels falling apart and the, you know, rust and not meeting the round counts, and then almost immediately being replaced with the M8, a shorter, lighter version of that. We have the whole, you know, their rounds getting stuck because they can't load their special high pressure rounds to the correct overall length. Then you have like out of battery detonations that we took a look at on Wednesday, I want to say. Then you have their suppressors just falling off and then getting shot accidentally. And, you know, it's just this whole cacophony of things together that informs me that I should not invest my hard-earned funds, or your hard-earned funds more accurately, on things like Sig Sauer, right? Just holistically, I'm just like, no, I'm just not interested in anything that Sig makes. Not the ammunition, not the handguns, not the suppressors, not the rifles, right? I'm just like, nah, bro, no thank you. So from the M250 23-P during PMCS, inspect the can locking collar for proper function in both positions. Ensure can rollers move freely during operations. If 1/3 of the muzzle device's finish is missing, replace it. And so here we have some additional pictures. Here we can see where it got shot a second time, which is, you know, one shot to launch it, the other one to kill it. And it bulged out in there. And yeah, the baffles no worky. The common issue is whoever's in charge with these contracts keep getting signed. Follow the money, cascading SIG Ls, exactly what I'm talking about. This would have come out in testing and unit evaluations. Units are most likely not executing the NET, NEF well. Now, what is funny there is that, again, during the testing of these, when they were evaluating the SIG M7 in conjunction with their suppressors, like, you can just look up the image. I think Mr. Gunzinger has them all posted on his Instagram and on his X account of the suppressors being physically welded to the muzzle devices and to the barrels, right? Just a huge glob of weld, attaching the suppressors to the barrels, like physically making them one holistic piece so that they couldn't loosen up and come off during fire. Now, maybe your explanation is, well, that is just U.S. soldiers, U.S. Army soldiers being too stupid to operate a locking collar. And it's like, okay, listen, I know they've lowered the requirements to who can get into the U.S. military, so maybe there is a little bit of that going on, but it's probably a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B, where you have people who are not necessarily the brightest. And that's not to denigrate all of our service members. It is Jude, of course, so we should honor them during this month. But it is to say that, you know, perhaps some of them are a little bit less mechanically inclined than you would hope for. And on the other side, you have SIG products being subpar, garbage, or, you know, terrible. You know, it's a little bit of column A, it's a little bit of column B, and somehow my tax dollars are funding both columns. You know, both of their columns are held up by our tax dollars. Okay. Equipment is supposed to be grunge proof. Yeah. Anything that's like complex locking collars where it's like, okay, so we need to make sure that the rollers are still working and that, The muzzle device finish is still there, and then make sure that it's rotated here, the torque down to spec, and then your suppressor shouldn't fly off as we're shooting this really high pressure ammo, by the way. This is the M250, if you're not familiar, is the LMG variant of the M7. So it's, 6.8x51 high pressure ammo at a high cyclic rate, a high volume of fire. So any little issues with suppressors are going to be exacerbated, okay, during live fire. Now, it is Pride Month, okay? So CZ, or sorry, not CZ, Freudian slip there. My bad. Jeez, I actually didn't mean to do that. Funny timing. Funny timing. Now, I posted this earlier on Twitter because Sig decided to release a promo video. And the reason why I'm like, a promo video, is that what you thought you were doing here? It's just 16 seconds long, but like, could they not have done a better job here? Just because it's obviously focused on their M17, which I'm like, no, please stop. Please don't do that. But also, like, in-optic footage is meant to be appealing, right? In-optic footage is meant to, like, sell you on the concept or the idea of something. And this one's like, look at how bad that looks. And this is supposed to be like marketing footage. This is supposed to be, like, this makes the optic look good, doesn't it? Like, really cool. Like, I don't know what y'all are smoking, dude, but that looks like trash, dude. That looks awful. Thank you, but no thanks. I'm actually not interested in that anymore. Like, again, these are like, you decided to put out these stills, not me. I didn't, like, if I was doing this, this would, like, damn it. Don't kill me, YouTube. You're fine. Relax, okay? Relax. If I ever put out like this still in a video, it would be while I'm lambasting their ridiculously poor visual quality through their red dots, right? I'm like, why would you spend so much money? Because I don't think those dots are inexpensive. I think they're quite expensive, aren't they? Especially the M17, M18 variants where they screw in through the bottom, that's kind of a cool mounting system, right? Because you don't have any exposed screws on top. You can make the deck height really low. You get a lot of thread connection between your, screws and the slide and the optics. So I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of a neat mounting system for the M17 optics. I'm like, that's nice. That's neat. But then you put that like ridiculously awful blue notch filter in there, and it's like I'm looking through two RMRs at the same time. It's like, this is trash. Yeah, I thought the Gen 1 MROs were blue. No, this is advanced blue. And again, this is in a promo shot for the U.S. military. This is like the Romeo M17, ready for duty with the U.S. military. Also, I forgot that's quite funny down there as well. I'm actually going to look at their comments on their post and see if they're any better. I doubt it, but you never know. Sig P4X, as they're known. Apologies for the loud noises. All right. Siggers, as they known. Does it shake awake like the 320? Nice. Charlie Cox, sure about that. 19X would have been better. True. The P320 cannot be fired without a trigger pull. Very true. Don't drop it. Shoot your eye out, kid. Yep. Opening up. Man, it's even in their own comments. Even in their own comments, they are just getting demolished. Absolutely demolished, dude. Just straight up BTFO. At this point, dude, just stop posting about the P320, dude. No one cares. You're getting lambasted, okay? You have you're getting ratioed on main, okay? It's not helping your case, dog. Not at all. But you know what, guys? To be fair to Sig Sauer, okay? As I take a sip of what is this? Sour gummy worm. To be fair to Sig Sauer, they're not the only ones with issues. Now, here we have a Glock as I magically disappear from the screen for pressing the wrong button. And I'm back. Hey, there we are. we have the Timney. Okay, we got the Timney competition trigger. I know I have a picture of that around here somewhere. Here it is. Okay. Story time with John. I have one of these. It's been sitting in my toolbox for 4 years now, maybe 3 years now. The Timney competition trigger for Glocks is pretty darn good when it comes to trigger dynamics and pull weight. It's like a 3-pound trigger, really light take up, really crisp, a little bit of a rolling break, really good dynamics. Depending on what reset spring you have in there, some of them are good. So like, I liked it. Okay. When I was shooting it, I was like, this is a really good trigger. Maybe at the time, the best trigger ever for Glocks in terms of like pull weight and dynamics. But then it just started having issues. And this is the story with a lot of these Timney triggers. Now, again, Timney will say that in the stock configuration, they can never go off on their own or go into full auto or binary or have these issues. The problem is that everybody changes parts on their Glocks, right? So even if I grant Timney that that's true, because watching the Ben Steger video today on it, they reached out to him and said that in its stock configuration, these will never have an issue. And it's like, well, if somebody's going so far as to replace a lot of parts in their Glock for the trigger, they probably have a lightened firing pins, not a firing pin spring, a lightened striker spring, a lightened safety plunger spring. They probably have a different connector in there because connectors are like $20, right? So they probably have all these different connectors in there and parts and whatnot that are no longer in the stock configuration. So the reason why I took mine out is because it worked great for a while. Then it stopped resetting. Then I put in the stronger trigger reset spring. And then after a while, it started to go full auto on me. And I was like, this is funny, but at the same time, like not cool, right? Because I'm just shooting and it's like bang, 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 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And it would just happen randomly and intermittently. And it's like, if it's not consistent, I don't really want it, right? Because this is definitely not operating as intended. And what we have here, this is another one, allegedly installed properly by someone that Ben knows, sent the video. I can't really play the video, but I'll give you the rundown, okay? So trigger gets pulled, 1 round goes off. Trigger gets released, 1 round goes off. So it is going full binary consistently. Now, keep in mind, the Timney competition trigger is not a binary trigger. And in fact, it's possible that they may have inadvertently violated, what is it? Not Fostech. Who has the patent on it? It's got to be Franklin Armory, right? Franklin Armory's got to have one of the patents on Glock binary triggers. Also, binary triggers are dumb in general. They were kind of cool when that was like the only option in town. But now that FRTs are becoming more mainstream, which we're literally about to talk about, binary triggers, big stupid, okay? So my main takeaway from this, let me see if I can find a screenshot for you here, because the screenshot should probably be kosher. So gun gets 1 shot on pull, and then as he releases it, the gun does it again. It's like, okay, this is now a problem. This is now a dangerous piece of kit here, all right? So what I would recommend to anyone shooting a Timney is if it's working for you, why risk it? Why not just, replace it? There's lots of other triggers on the market that don't have these issues, that haven't been having these issues for years. Because again, mine that I bought has been sitting in my tool chest out in my car that goes with me to the range like every day or every week for 4 years. It's been sitting in a little side compartment, just in a little baggie, and I haven't thought about it or touched it or looked at it because it is completely unsafe in my Glock, and it will randomly go full auto. Now, again, maybe if you haven't touched any other component in your stock Glock and the only thing you put in there is the new sear and trigger bar and shoe from Timney, maybe it's quote unquote safe. But for me, it's like everybody changes parts all the time. Everybody does that. So why are we even allowing that as a possibility? Okay. All right. So that's Timney, guys. Long and short of it, don't buy it. Don't waste your money on it. I wasted my money on it so that you don't have to, okay? Greeks says, yeah, I don't understand why some companies are trying to click onto binary triggers still. Well, it's because it used to sell, I guess. But I mean, yeah, if you're Fostech, if you're Franklin, like you should have come out with your own FRT a long time ago. You should have just updated. You should have just moved on. Like it's not cool anymore. It's not useful anymore. Like FRTs are debatable for like useful situations. I think they're super fun, of course. Like shooting is fun. You know, shooting really fast is fun. Shooting super fast with, you know, super safe with, you know, whatever caliber, insert favorite caliber suppressor combo here. Also super fun. You know, if you just want to scratch that itch and go have some fun and blow off some steam and powder and lead, it's fun. But binary is neither of those things. It's not practical. It's not efficacious. It's not as fun as FRTs, and they're not cheaper than FRTs. Like if a binary device was like $25 and an FRT was like $100, you'd be like, okay, well, at least there's some like value proposition going on here where you can pick and choose. Like, I just need, you know, a little bit of faster fire and binary. But it's the opposite, right? It's like you can get super safety or trigger kickers for like 50, you know, like really inexpensive. And most binaries are still like 1 to 200. So it's like, no thanks. No thanks, guys. Not a federal agent says, yo, bud, that's kind of racist. Yeah. Wish we were 2 hours in, man. It's all right, though. All right. Let's go over here. So we are going to talk about OneHorse because OneHorse, if you don't know, is essentially, what's the best way to put this? It's essentially the people from Anderson that were laid off after they got bought out by Ruger went to start their own company. So they have a lot of experience in the industry, on the low end of the industry, and their last company failed. So maybe take that with a grain of salt, but they are coming out with the Express rifle, which is a collaboration between themselves and Atrius. And it is a factory configured, super safe system. Okay, that's the kosher way to put it on YouTube. That is a factory, super safe system from OneHorse, formerly a lot of the team members from Anderson before they went under, right? So the Poverty Pony has been reborn with OneHorse. Now, before we get to that, we're an hour into the show. We'll get to your guys' support, and then we'll get through what may or may not be a good value. And spoiler alert, it's probably not. Cody Fisher for $10 throws up the crosses. Appreciate that, Cody. Hope you're doing well tonight, good sir. Hope everyone is having a good weekend, all right? Zanico for 2 says, John, you're 24 hours and 7 minutes late. I'm pretty sure I ended up like 20 minutes late. My wife was like, aren't you streaming? And I'm like, what? Am I late? Yeah, it was 20 minutes late. Thank you, Zanico. Appreciate that, sir. Amorai Boy for 2 says, I come back from vacay and you're still late. Extra gay. Dude, I came back from vacation too, dog. Okay, I got work to do. Thank you, Amorai Boy. And by work, I mean like doom scroll. Art Vandalay for 2 says, happy Father's Day, Kings. True, Father's Day is tomorrow. Wish your father a happy birthday or happy Father's Day. And if he's no longer with us, say a prayer. And yeah, just remember the good times that you guys had together. Appreciate the fathers you have out there. Thank you, Art Vandalay. Dillweed for 5 says, Africa time. Well, did you know that for every 60 minutes that passes in the U.S., 1 minute goes by in Africa? Thank you, Dillweed. Art Vandalay becomes a new YouTube member. Appreciate that, Art. Art Vandalay then also manages to become a new YouTube channel member. All right. And then Zanico gifts 1 Focus Trip membership. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Todd and Dogs for 2 says, John has a clock made by Sig Sauer. Dude, an alarm clock by Sig Sauer that just goes off randomly. Like you can't actually set the time. That'd be a funny gag gift, wouldn't it? Like you get somebody like an alarm clock or something like that, but it just goes off randomly, like at random intervals, and you're not able to turn it off. That would actually be very funny. Thank you, Todd and Dogs. Helix becomes a new YouTube channel member. Appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Battle Rifles for 2 says, OneHorse ran great. I was by them at GunCon and saw it. That is good to hear. Yeah. I think GunCon just ended, right? Did it end today? I wasn't there, obviously. I had more important things to do, like hang out with family and sleep and shoot a match. But I'm glad that it went well, and I'm glad that it was running well at the event. That's cool. Lightsport for 2 says 19X supremacy. Well, listen, okay, all of the supremacists are welcome here, okay? You're a 19X. I'm a little bit different of a supremacist, but, fair enough, fair enough. All colors are welcome here as long as you're a supremacist. Zanico for 2 says Glock 34 or get the fuck. Yeah, I've shot a 34 exactly, I think, one time, and I was like, oh, this is fine. Thank you, Zanico. Kraken McWillie for 2 says Kimber Chads stay winning. Truk, thank you. Kimber guys, you don't hear anything bad about Kimber, not anymore, not recently. You hear mostly just good stuff about Kimber. So Kimber Bro's eating well. Paulie B for 5 says John trending for Patrick Stewart's Gurney in Dune 1984. Funny movie. You guys should watch the Spicer cut. I think that's what it is. You can find the full 3.5-hour 1984 Dune cut. I want to say it's like the Spicer cut or something like that. You can find that on YouTube for free, and you can watch the entire 3.5-hour, director's cut plus edition. Essentially, it has like everything that was cut out of the 1984 Dune film, and you can go watch that on YouTube for free right now. I think it's called the Spicer cut. I might be incorrect about that, but that is the best version of the film. Thank you, Paulie B. Mark 2 Mod 1 for 5 says I finally caught a live stream. Quick, think of something funny. Mega stickers with a Kiwi accent shouldn't have guns. Mega stackers. What the heck is a mega stacker? Although I haven't used the voice in a while. Talking about Dune. What is good on here? What the heck is Yoan? Okay.
So I don't know what this sounds like. I hope this is pretty good, but I'll do it. Mega stackers shouldn't have guns. Fair enough. I hope that sounds okay. It has an adjustable pitch, so I don't know if that's bad.
Thank you. Stivaris for 5 says, would there be any reason not to send my Glock 19 Gen 4 to Jaegerworks? Is it off? No, it's still on. To Jaegerworks for an EPS cut. I can't find any reasons to justify an Acro or RMR model. I wouldn't go with an Acro or an RMR. Now, if you have a... Thank you for the gift, Siju. Does that even pop up? See, that's what's annoying. The GIFs on YouTube don't go anywhere. Or you can't see them anywhere. Bryce Kimball says mommy. Okay. All right. All right. Some people love it. Some people, I don't even know what it sounds like because I can't hear it. Stavars 5 says, would there be, yeah. So sending your Gen 4 Glock 19 slide for an EPS cut. Yeah, just get the EPS cut. The EPS is the best pistol optic on the market right now for non-competition reasons. So yeah, just get the EPS. Stavaris, I would recommend you get the EPS. That's it. Thank you, Stavaris. Reckless Ben Schneider. That's right. He's finding the bricks and minifig stuff, right? Says this show is so much better without a lame assistant host. Man, I like talking to other people. I don't know. Everybody hates on all the guests. I think it's a meme though. I think people just love to hate on the guests. Like I like talking to Jake. I like having Richard on. Richard doesn't say anything. He just sits there and he's like, every now and again he says something really funny, or he says something so unfunny that it flips back around to being so funny, right? Like he'll say something that is not related to anything. Like my mind is going in one direction and his mind is over there doing something. And it's it becomes so it's so horseshoe theory, right? Because something is so wacky and weird that it becomes funny again. All right. Ray Polocost for 2 says, just puts up the 3 Orthodox crosses. Very based, Mr. Ray Polocost. All right. Let's see. Over on Ko-Fi. Holly B for $20. Very, very based of you, sir. Says, it was my birthday yesterday. Well, happy birthday to you. Give me a hop screaming. What's good about this optic? Funny story. I was ignorant 10 years ago and gave the tribe my DNA to 23andMe. They say I'm not German. I have a German surname, upload the data to GED match, and I am a Volga German. Many such subversions. That's the thing, dude. You can't give them anything, bro. you can't, like, if you give them your DNA, they're just going to like store it for, future data selling purposes or have other nefarious means of using your DNA for whatever they might want. And then whatever the information they spit out is not useful because they can just be lying to you purposefully or just incompetent, right? So yeah, don't ever sell your like biological data to companies that hate you. How about that? I understand that people want that. But I will give you the hop clip, okay? There we go.
I don't understand. Care. No, again, I don't fucking care, brother. Come on.
Okay,
I don't
great,
fucking care.
But
What's good about this optic?
Such a good hop moment. Perhaps one of the best hop moments of all time. Damn. Miku Richard. Okay. Actually, there's a bunch of voices that I haven't even seen yet. So,
Like this is a different one. And then they have this voice here. Right. So this one's different apparently. Let's see. They have a Giga Chad voice. Does this
The music? I bet this one does the music. Yeah. Giga Chad voice. Okay, super cool.
Drunk hop is the best hop. True. Focus lolly. Ugh. I don't think I qualify as lolly. Maybe cringe, but not lolly, okay? How dare you? Mr. Noom over on Rumble for 2. Hope you're doing well, by the way. I need to put you in a group chat. Says, I have a few P320s I can loan people at shooting matches. That's actually a great idea. Dude, the better shooters, okay? You just got to loan them or gift them P320s and then like, hey, I just need to film you shooting this, okay? Could you just shoot this? Take out the competition and get famous in the process. Take out the competition, get famous. Yes. All right. Elijah of the Pacific Northwest says, where's the hop clip from? It is from my stream with him and Oprod Kid. And I think it's Lead and Steel's Greatest Defender. So go on to the backlog of my live streams on YouTube, Lead and Steel's Greatest Defender. I think it's on that episode specifically, which is a great episode. One of the best, honestly. All right, but anyways, talking about one of the best, let's go ahead and talk about Atreus and OneHorse, okay? So this was a couple days ago. OneHorse, a rapidly growing American firearms manufacturer, today announced the launch of its exclusive OneHorse Express rifle for its speed, I suppose. The first factory-built production rifle equipped with Atreus Development Group's Revolutionary Forced Reset Selector, FRS. Rather than simply adding components to an existing platform, the OneHorse Express is designed, assembled, and tuned from the ground up as a complete system to deliver maximum reliability, consistency, and performance right out of the box. Now, listen, guys. I'm not denigrating the writer of this article, but when you tune to an FRT, usually it's some combination of like have a barrel that has enough gas and then put a heavy buffer behind it. Like it's not very complex. The softer gas to the gun is, like the worse it runs. Usually you paradoxically need enough mass to slow down the bolt and to make sure that it goes home with enough force, and also need enough gas to cycle it violently enough that the system still runs. So it's like this paradoxical thing where you need gas up front and heavy buffers in the back, usually some combination of the two to get them to run as reliably as possible. And spoiler alert, most guns are already the overgassed part. They're just not the overbuffered part, right? So most guns are already doing the overgassed part, just not adding the buffers in the back. So tuning your gun to work with an FRT is like, Atreus is like, hey, most of our guns, like at this length barrel, they like this gas port size and this buffer weight. And you're done. That's what tuning is. Tuned system, right? All right, the OneHorse Express key features: Atreus Development Group FRS, single-sided, which is fine. The Thrill RTG, tactical grip, which is just cheap. The Thrill Combat Competition stock, which is just cheap. The Break Arms Warhammer Mod 2, which is a fine, cheap ambidextrous charging handle. I think it is one of the cheapest ambidextrous charging handles on the market. It's also fine. 16-inch chrome moly vanadium nitride SOCOM profile barrel with a 1-in-8 twist, heavy barrel. SOCOM is a pretty heavy barrel. Not heavy, but pretty heavy barrel. 1-in-8 twist, dimpled, of course. 15-inch express lock system handguard with enhanced lockup. It's just a really generic, cheap wedge lock rail that everyone makes. It's so cheap. Calling it special in any way, shape, or form is offensive to the word special. Low profile staked steel gas block. That's just standard. Mid-length gas system. Yep, probably an 076 gas port or maybe an 078 gas port if they want to add a little bit more gas to the system. H2 buffer, exactly what I just said. It has a heavier buffer in the back and it's probably a little more overgassed up front. More gas up front, more buffer in the back. Kind of tuned for FRT usage. The OneHorse Express will be available beginning June 19th. That was yesterday. The rifle was built to run. Jeremy Hammond, CEO of OneHorse, the OneHorse Express, represents a significant step forward for OneHorse and for production rifle manufacturing. This collaboration pairs Atria selector technology with a rifle platform engineered. It's like, you keep saying this as if there's something like special about it to run like full auto, and it's like, not really. It probably has a very generic BCG, probably has a very generic barrel with an appropriate gas port, and it has an H2 in the back. All right. Good night, Art Vandalay. Thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate you. This collaboration pairs Atria selector technology with a rifle platform engineered, assembled, and tuned as a complete system. Actually, no, I got to do this in the Giga Chad voice, right?
Because I mean, listen, this is pure like mid-2000 cringe as far as marketing BS. This collaboration pairs Atrius selector technology with a rifle platform engineered, assembled, and tuned as a complete system. Where'd it go? I just lost my spot. As a complete system from day one, Atrius and OneHorse share the same standard, disciplined manufacturing, dependable performance, and a finished product the end user can trust and be proud to own. Since day one, the Atrius Force Reset Selector has set the standard for what is possible in this industry, said Ryan Spatafor, CEO and founder of Atrius Development Group. Partnering with OneHorse is the kind of move that changes the conversation. They represent what we respect in American manufacturing. Family ownership, precision-driven production, and a commitment to performance. This launch is more than a new rifle. It is an example of the industry working together to move gun culture in a positive direction. We're proud to stand alongside OneHorse as we take the next step together. Together, we win.
All right. All right, bud. Now, that's the thing. Like, I'm fine with the collaboration. I think it is a good move forward, but they're kind of acting as if this, OneHorse, which is like basically a Anderson shoot-off, is like some major player in the industry, and this is like making big changes, right? When it's just, it's a little step forward. It's a little step forward for the industry. It's like, okay, we have a factory rifle tuned for an FRT from a very, 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 very small manufacturer. It's like, okay, that's something, but it's really not that big of a deal. Okay, I'm sure the rifle will sell well because, again, it is tuned from the factory. Just means it's set up properly, right? It's tuned from the factory, so you should be able to get a factory version that shoots well, that's relatively reliable, and that's fine, right? I don't have any problems with that as like just the baseline. It's like, hey, here's a mid-tier rifle, well, a low-tier rifle at a decent price that works from the factory with an FRT. It's like, okay, all right. So based in Brownstown, Indiana, Brownstown, that's funny. The family-owned company manufactures rifles, components, and firearm platforms built around a practical performance, disciplined production, and American manufacturing. Now, if we could take a look over on their website here, so you can see some of the pictures from the rifle. It has safe, semi, super semi. The Warhammer charging handle, again, I think is a fine ambidextrous charging handle made for Americans by Americans living in Brownstown. And you can see the rail is just the wedge lock rail that everyone uses. It's like the Expo Arms Special. It's like the NBS. It's like the Dirty Bird. They're all basically the exact same rail that every single one of these companies uses because it kind of just works. It's simple. It's lightweight. Here you have, I think, Tactical Advisor. I want to say shooting a version of it with a different handguard, actually, but I'm sure it's similar enough. I think there's also some pictures of Despop on here. Let me see. That's Despop. There he is. So there's a couple of the influencers, the FRT guys, Tactical Advisor, Joe from Despop, that are kind of, I don't want to say working in conjunction with, but are attaching their name in some way, or at least just kind of helping to prop up the company, or at least get the word out a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. All right. It's like, it's really cheap furniture. There's nothing special about it. The rail isn't particularly special. The stock is not particularly special. Here's just a picture of the base, item by itself. So like if we zoom in here, it's like 16-inch barrel, 15-inch handguard, mid-length gas system, SOCOM profile, so you can see it's a little heavier in the back. Cheap furniture, really cheap furniture, cheap magazine, cheap stock, fine charging handle, and it has a FRT on the inside with an H2 buffer. Now the price tag, they just what did they do? It's $1,000, which is like, I gotta be real, guys. Okay, this is a $500 rifle, right? This is the PSA Freedom line, like $499 special. Like that is what this is, right? Because it's mega generic furniture, the generic rail, mil spec upper lower. It has a nice charging handle and a FRT, which is like a $200 upgrade. So realistically, this is a $500 rifle that has a couple $100 worth of parts, and then has an additional 30-40% markup on top of it. Right. So there's already a markup on the base rifle, which is again $500 retail, $200 in parts, which they probably pay like $99 for, and then another like $400 in profit on top of it. Now, why is that? Well, it's because it's a little bit more problematic in terms of warranty, I'm sure, right? Anytime you're selling a weapon that is going to be, maybe YouTube doesn't like that turn of phrase. Anytime you're selling maybe they don't even like that word. Maybe anytime you're allowing the transaction of a device designed to utilize a higher disbursement of projectiles, right? Isn't that so gay? But anyways, anytime you're allowing the transaction of one of these things with a intention of a higher rate of disbursement, it's going to have more failures, right? It just is. Okay, you're going to be putting this into the hands of ethnics that just don't know no better, and they're going to have all sorts of issues. So I guarantee you that extra money is those extra units of measure are going to be used for warranty claims, hopefully customer service, hopefully replacement parts, because that like most super safeties have a shelf life. They just do, right? Most of them aren't truly hard use components. I doubt the BCG in this is some monster. I doubt the barrel is some, top of the line S tier barrel out there that's going to give you umpteen thousand rounds. Although, to be real, guys, okay, if you're one of those people that's like, I don't have very much money, I don't have very much know-how, I need a quote-unquote factory gun to run an FRT, I'm going to buy the cheapest one available or the only one available. I'm going to be real, you're probably not shooting it very much, right? So realistically, this is just a really good cash money move from OneHorse. And from the business side of things, makes complete sense, okay? Without the FRT and the factory tuning, which again is just like an H2 buffer, without the factory tuning and the FRT, this would be a $499 special. This just like, it's uninteresting. The only thing interesting about it is how cheap it should be. You put it in FRT and you're like, okay, now there's something here. There's something to differentiate it, right? But here's the thing. PSA could just do the same thing tomorrow at a price tag of $699, right? And it's like, well, I can't really vouch for either of you. I don't know you. It's a cheap rifle. The parts are cheap. I don't know how well you assemble your rifles. I can hope you do it better than PSA, but like it's not really that exciting of a value proposition. The components themselves, not particularly exciting. It's a very cheap rifle with an FRT. It's got 4 QDs, John. That's true. The stock does have 4 QDs on it. It has 4 QDs and it has 3 sling loop locations. I didn't even notice that, dude. Look, like they wanted that. Listen, however you want to run a sling on this, you absolutely can. You got 1, 2, 3 sling loop locations and 2 QDs on each side. It's Task Force Tater says, who's FRT? It's the Atrius Development Group, which I think I still have. Somebody sent me one, and it's been sitting on my desk somewhere for months because I haven't actually had the impulse to put it in a gun because I don't like FRTs. Not that, I'm against the capability. I just don't care about them. So I have one, and it's been sitting around forever. I haven't done anything with it. Red Right Hand says it's really kind of the point to get manufacturers into doing this as a normal thing. PSA would be a big shift. No, I totally agree that PSA would be a big player in the industry. Like OneHorse, I guarantee you, like OneHorse, very few people know who OneHorse is. Almost no normie knows who OneHorse is, right? This is the only interesting thing that their brand has done so far to date, right? It's like, okay, OneHorse, we're getting the band back together. It's some of the old Anderson employees starting their own company. The Poverty Pony is back. It's like, well, the Poverty Pony died because budget ARs, like uber cheap ARs, aren't that interesting. So it's like, what if we do an uber cheap AR, but with an FRT from the factory, and then we call it tuned, even though it's just like maybe a slightly larger gas port with an H2 buffer. And that's the entire extent of our tuning, It's still cheap components front to back. It's a big markup for a not particularly expensive device. But again, this will sell well. I think it is a good business move. It's just not that interesting to me as somebody who knows a little bit more and isn't super interesting, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe as far as Task Force Tater doesn't know who they are. Yeah, and nobody does. Rare Breed is already suing. Also very possible. Again, maybe somewhere else down the line, maybe this is just a good precedent for like a PSA. Don't think Ruger is going to put one in their guns anytime soon. Who else would even have the audacity to put an FRT in one of their guns from the factory? Smith & Wesson? Probably not. They have a lot of LEO contracts. Ruger? Definitely not. PSA? Maybe. Maybe PSA does it, right? It's possible PSA does it. CAC could do it. That's actually interesting. I'm surprised that CAC hasn't made their own FRT yet. CAC could do it. Yep, that's possible. Radical's another option. It's very possible. High Point? Maybe, although I haven't heard much about their AR at all since it launched. Again, it's another one of those ARs that's just not interesting. It's cheap. Who cares? Bear Creek Arsenal says POS Mini Racer. Maybe, it's possible. Keltec Tier Insanity. Interesting. I could see Keltec doesn't even make a standard AR though. That wouldn't. Doubt PSA, Black Rain Ordnance. Geisley would never. Diamondback. Interesting. PSA would, and it would make their reliability closer to 0%. Well, that's the thing. PSA would be like, here's our new Freedom FRT line, or Freedom really this time or something like that. I don't know. That's their new line of rifles, and it doesn't even have an H2 buffer. Like they just still have a carbine buffer in it and it just doesn't run. That would be what PSA does, unironically. OneHorse stripped lowers are $59. That's not bad. Pretty cheap. LaRue, no. BCM would be hilarious. They would never do it though. They have way too many LE and military contracts. They would never do it. I guarantee you, because police departments are not going to look fondly on any company that does. Federal companies, any agency like that is not going to look kindly on any, even if it's quote unquote legal, they're not going to like the optics of that. So I guarantee you companies with big mill LEO contracts are not going to want to rock the boat to sell a few hundred rifles to civvies and to ethnics, right? I just don't think that's possible. PSA, maybe some of the CAC, Franklin Armory just needs to move on to, get out of the binary game, right? Colt, that would be hilarious. Knights, never going to happen. Arrow, womp. Dude, actually, okay, Arrow, listen up, bro. That is a genius ideal, Evil Burger. Bring back, okay, take another $10 million loan out, okay? This is financial advice, okay? Arrow Precision. You need to take out a $10 million loan right now, okay? Right? Whatever you got to leverage to do it. Sell your wives, sell your kids, mortgage your house for a third time, whatever it happens to be, okay? Get $10 million right now, okay? Spit out a line of lowers and the cheapest, trigger kicker devices you can possibly think of, and just make like 1 million of them, okay? Or as many as you can, all right? And then you're going to sell them as Arrow's brand new something line of rifles, okay? And you'll sell out quickly, okay? You're going to get the Arrow guys who are missing out that want something from you. You're going to get the ethnic FRT crowd. It's going to be fantastic, okay? It's going to work out great. And honestly, don't even ship the products, right? Just let them order and like sit for like 6 months. You're going to make a ton of money in the short time, okay? This is short-term money right here. We're going to short, or no, we're not going to short. Yeah, no, we're going to short the FRT rifle market, okay? Me and you, Arrow, okay? We'll split the profits here. We're going to do a pump and dump, but with FRT-based rifles. Yeah. Anodized red and blue. The Arrow Lightning Rifle. Ooh, there we go. There we go. I'm hearing it. B&T USA doing a FRT line of rifles would be hilarious, considering they're in, contract disputes with B&T AG. So that would be hilarious. I would actually buy an Arrow if they did. That would be so funny, wouldn't it? They come back with one last Hail Mary product and it's an FRT rifle. That obviously doesn't run, but it is an FRT rifle. Yes. Trip Guns LLC. No, never. I need to just get my FFL SOT 0207, whatever it is, so that I can just like start making my own line of things. And I can just be really obnoxious in the market. Like I'm just going to undercut people, be like, hey, I have the same parts as all those guys, but I'm way cheaper. Like you should just buy mine. That'd be so funny to do. Arrow post-cision. And that's a good one. Arrow post-cision. Ooh, dude. Somebody get that website right now. The Focus Fire FRT. Yeah, that'd be funny. All right. Dillweed for 10 says you skipped out on the Super Blackface Friday stream. Oh, damn it. I missed a Super Blackface Friday last minute and left me hanging in my living room looking like Justin Trudeau on Halloween, dude. I think I got to do either Watermelon Felon for Halloween or do Blackface straight up. Why not? It'd be funny. Reckless Ben Schneider for 5 says that voice sounds it like your Nad's family finally dropped. Yeah, finally, dude. I have a high-pitched voice. Deal with it, dog. I deal with it every day. Reckless Ben Schneider for 5 says, I'm Focus Trip. I hate everything except Richard. Make it make sense. Dude, I have so much love in my heart for people, okay? You know what? My favorite job that I ever had, story time with John, favorite job that I ever had was tutoring like special needs kids who were like 5th graders at the time, I want to say. I had 2 of them, okay? Because I worked in PL, tiny little rural school in Washington. Their grades were so low for like, kindergarten and elementary that they were about to lose like state funding unless they got their grade point average up. So my job while I was there was to help 2 little boys, 2 5th grade boys with their reading comprehension and stuff like that. One of them was just a little slow. The other one had like Tourette's. And like not like the funny Tourette's where you would like yell explicatives or whatnot, but like he would just get up and just start flailing, right? And so it'd be really funny. You'd just be sitting there, you'd be going through the readings, the books, whatever it is, and then he'd just, get up and start dancing and flailing around, and you would just sit there patiently. It would be done in about 10 to 20, 30 seconds, whatever it might be, and he'd sit back down and he'd go back through the readings. And he needed that like one-on-one or 2-on-1 sort of help to get back up to speed. So that was my job while I was there. And it was a great job. I love doing that. I was camp counselor for a long time, like kids, have a lot of kids, plan on having more. All right. John was a tard wrangler, says Lightsport for 2. Chat makes sense now. Yeah, maybe in context, it makes my appreciation for certain things make sense, right? Context. Mark 2 for Mark 2 Mod 1 for 2 says, where can I send you a clip for next stream? Email focustrip@gmail.com or Instagram or John at Focus Shooting LLC or X or Discord or Ko-Fi or Subscribestar or yeah, lots of places. Thank you, Mark 2. Lightsport for 2 says, start making Josh 15s with 14.5 Roscoe's. You'll be this. Anyways, Helix says I tried tutoring in like 5th grade, but some kids are lost causes. No, these 2 kids, they just needed a little help. And then I filled in with like helping some high schoolers, and this was when I was in college. So I filled in helping some college kids, and then like little kids for like reading and stuff like that. You just listen to them like try and get through a book. Really simple stuff. Yeah, just transmit it straight into my brain. Just rub the temples a little bit. Maybe put out one hand like Biden coming for your gun rights, okay? Something like that. John literally taught me to read when I was 10, yeah. Dude, actually, I think his name was Josh. I think one of the kids' names was Josh. So that would be very funny. Very funny if it was Josh. That Josh. Great little kid. Both of them. Fantastic. All right, what are we going to next? What are we talking about? Okay, well, let's talk. Dude, I just want to keep bringing up this topic forever, okay? I just want completely inaudible. Oh, was it? Dude, it's probably my pop filter or my gate, whatever it's called. Anyways, who cares? I want to keep talking about this, okay? Because if for some reason is a topic that just won't ever die now, it's like the 2 things that like somehow, the 3 things somehow that I've talked about in my last videos. It's just nonstop content. So it's obviously the Sons of Liberty Gunworks Mark 1. It's obviously risers. And it's vertical foregrips, right? Those 3 things, they just won't stop. And it's perfect for me because I enjoy talking about it. I think that it's hilarious that people get so worked up over this stuff. You know, there's like general truths and all this other stuff about how you should shoot. There's all these, you know, like prescriptive claims that you can make about what's good for shooting, what's bad for shooting in general, right? And to see people like adamantly defend their purchase to the death, right? To the really to my entertainment, right? But to their detriment as they get worked up over it. But I think this stuff is so funny, okay? Jesse Cinco here. So we are still talking about risers. We're still talking about vertical foregrips. We're still talking about all this fun stuff. And I love it. I'm here for it. So Jesse Cinco posts, I ran a 226 for 8 months, which is a 226 like a Unity 226 or whatever else is out there. Rather tall. Too tall for me, okay? But even that is not tall enough for some people, okay? Some people need a little bit more. Some people need that double riser combo. I don't think I have a picture of that handy anymore. But yeah, some people need a little bit more, okay? They like it a little longer. They like it a little more special. That's all right. I mean, it's not all right, but it's okay that they think it's all right. 226 is too tall, though. Like 193, 175 is about as tall as I ever go. Basically, I learned that it ultimately gave more trouble than it solved, but that was in the far ends of performance. Pros, comfortable for my neck. Easier, but not necessarily better for contingencies. Laser failure, requiring optic use under nods, gas masks, etc., etc. I think that comfortable is like maybe true, but also shooting just like performance shooting is not necessarily that comfortable, right? Whether it's a handgun, you know, you got a little explosion going off in your hands every time you pull the trigger. There's a lot of tension that gets built up over time. It takes a lot of conscious effort to fight that tension sometimes. So it's like being comfortable and shooting don't always go hand in hand, right? If you're like, oh, well, I physically can't use a rifle unless I have a 2.9 inch riser. It's like, one, I either don't believe you or two, you are so medically complicated as to you should probably just be put down. Now, obviously, I say that in jest. There are lots of people that do have some medical issues or, neck impairments or strange body dynamics, right? What's the word that Travis Haley always used? Biomechanics? Is that the one? Their biomechanics are just a little bit off the charts, okay? And so they need these super tall risers. But for the most part, comfortable is like a secondary concern, okay? Like performance has to come first. Comfort is like get as much as you can, but don't sacrifice performance for it. Dude, easier night vision stuff, like maybe. I do also love that the percentage of people who own like the 3.3 inch risers who say that it's good for gas masks and nods, a lot of the times they have a huge overlap with people who don't own nods and don't own gas masks, yet they have the 3-inch riser and they say this is really good for these really niche scenarios over here, of which is not possible for me to participate in. But they're really good for that. So I have the riser for that. It's like, I think, logically, I think you just bought them because you thought that they looked cool. And that seems a lot more reasonable. Better magnifier location when not in use on the gun, but I normally kept my magnifier in a zipper pouch anyways. I've never had that issue. I don't mind flip to side magnifiers. I don't need the Unity flip to center stuff. I actually kind of hate the flip to center stuff because I feel like it's more in my way than having a flip to side where it's just hanging off the gun. I get that there's pros and cons to having something hanging off the gun versus just like sitting on top of your rail, but I personally find it more comfortable and just easier to get it on and off. Or phrasing. Cons, slightly more overall added deviation to maximum point blank range, which just means the distance in which you can put the dot on the target and expect a hit, which is usually, 300 yards or so, or 250 yards, depending on your zero, ammo, yada, yada, yada. Definitively challenging holdovers on close targets. So much so that I would use my visible laser instead. Why? Because that added half-inch puts me in thin air for close-range headshots with the right target presentation. It's hard on static paper, but very hard on a moving target. And that's my biggest critique of risers, is that anytime you're actually on the timer with difficult shots, it makes everything more obnoxious. It just does. So, here's how do I describe this? A really annoying target array. Okay, here, let me grab some stickers for this. So here's a target array that is super annoying and kind of common, okay? So you have a target array like this, right? So you have technically you have 3 targets, right? So you have the top target, no shoot, middle target, no shoot, and then a target on the bottom. This is a triple stack where the white is a no shoot and the other stuff is the actual targets, right? This is not a fun stack to shoot very quickly. Okay, you have lots of no shoots in between almost every shot that you're taking, right? So having more height over bore makes this target stack really, 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 really annoying, especially when sometimes you have 1 inch of target to shoot at, okay? And calculating that distance at 8.9 yards in 0.7 seconds, which is probably about how fast you should shoot that, 0.7 seconds, very annoying, okay? When we add 4.5 inches height over bore, it's damn, I hope this is going where I want it to go. Now, if I simplify that, if I make it a lot shorter, it just makes every possible calculation that much easier. You can literally cut your height over bore almost in half by just going with an absolute riser. And it makes it easier. Cody says the Jew stack. No, that's the annoying stack, and you will see that. There were many double and triple stacks in today's match. It just happens where there's a little thin sliver, and that's what you're shooting at, okay? It's not that difficult, in terms of if you're standing there and you have 10 seconds, of course you can just take your time, go, okay, 2.6 inches, 3.5, because I think it's 9 yards, and I'm going to go right there, pull the trigger, bang. But if you're trying to do that, and again, 0.7 seconds, it's well, now my math needs to be perfect, and it needs to be perfect while I'm not particularly stable. It needs to be perfect while I'm waiting to shoot the next target, while I'm moving in or out of position, okay? And it just, if you don't shoot at that level, if you don't shoot at that target difficulty, then yeah, of course it doesn't matter. Realistically, if you don't shoot at all, of course it doesn't matter. Who cares? You can have whatever riser you want on your gun. You can have a 24-inch riser. Okay, it doesn't matter. Like if you don't shoot, it doesn't matter. But again, in the context of performance shooting, of difficult shooting, height over bore, very annoying to compensate for, and I'd prefer to do less of it. Let's see. Slightly more overall added deviation to MPBR. Yes. Definitively challenging holdovers. That's the worst. Sucks for prone shooting big time. Also true. Also true. And especially when it comes to like rifles, you just get into weird positions sometimes, right? So if they make you do like positional shooting or like prone shooting or like shooting on your side or like any sort of like really wacky, weird positions, like the taller the riser gets, the worse it is usually, right? So again, if ironically, like if you only shoot as at the flat range, never using any barricades or cover or difficult targets or anything else like that, risers are actually pretty good because you don't have any difficult targets, so your height over bore doesn't really matter. You're not doing weird positional shooting, so again, your height over bore and your head position doesn't really matter. But the harder the targets become, the higher time standard is set, or the quicker time standard is set, the more difficult positional shooting you do, the riser makes everything worse, right? So ironically, the flat range is the only place where a riser is actually mediocre. And everywhere else where there's actual difficulty or moving or weird positions or whatnot, the riser actually makes the gun shoot worse, or at least makes you interface with it worse. Lastly, it's kind of the gun equivalent of having a mega lifted truck. I don't know. I actually don't know about that last part. Never owned a lifted truck. Not my business. But again, every time this debate comes up, and it won't stop. Next is going to be something ridiculous. Don't worry. Okay. Whatever you think is bad now in the gun industry, I guarantee you it's going to be worse. Whatever topic Benjamin Netanyahu thinks of next is going to be worse. Speaking of Benjamin Netanyahu, not yet, but the Supreme Court unanimously limits use of gun law used to prosecute Hunter Biden. It's like one of those things where, unfortunately, regular Americans have to appeal to like corrupt politicians or ethnics to get our rights back. Which isn't that obnoxious that we have to wait until it affects someone rich and powerful or black before we can actually get some of these laws challenged, right? Isn't that annoying that we have to appeal to these undesirables to get our rights back? The Supreme Court sided Thursday with the habitual marijuana user who challenged a federal law banning anyone who uses illegal drugs from legally possessing a firearm, a Second Amendment case that tested the limits of restricting gun ownership. The court ruled the law, which was used to prosecute Hunter Biden, was overbroad and improperly deprived the man at the center of the case of his right to possess a firearm in his home. But the High Court also said in its narrow ruling, the law limits does not end government power to take guns from drug users. So again, very narrow application of the law. So it's not saying that there's no limits that they can imply, but this one specifically was too broad in its application. All right. We do not address efforts to ban addicts or those presently intoxicated from possessing a firearm, Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote for the majority. The case, I think was 9-0, so the majority was everybody. The case involved a Texas man charged with a felony after FBI agents raiding his home found a handgun he kept for self-defense, and he admitted to smoking marijuana every other day. So again, I'm not a drinker. I've never had alcohol. I've never smoked. I don't care about drugs like this at all. It's not my deal. I think in general they are incredibly degenerate and gay. I don't know a single based weed smoker outside of those who use them for more legitimate purposes, right? Weed is not my thing. I don't care about it. And again, in 99% of contexts, very degenerate and gay. However, again, I don't particularly care. In the opinion written by Gorsuch, the court held that the government's prosecution of Ali Hamani, huh? So again, we're appealing to Hunter Biden, rich, powerful, corrupt, and Mr. Hamani for protection of our rights. All right. Under a law, federal law, prohibiting firearm possession by unlawful users of controlled substances violated the Second Amendment. Justices Samuel Alito and Elena Kagan concurred only in the judgment. The government argued that people who regularly use illegal drugs could be disarmed based on historical laws that restricted the rights of so-called habitual drunkards. I wonder where that resided in. This has to be the Irish, right? This has to have been us cracking down on the Irish back in the day. Has to. But the court said that the old laws the government relied on were too different from modern gun restrictions to justify it. The government's analogy fails under every measure it asks us to consider, Gorsuch wrote. The historical laws on which it relies targeted different kinds of people, quote unquote, did so for different reasons and operated in different ways. The court said the old laws focused on people whose substance abuse left them unable to manage their lives, while the federal law broadly covered regular drug users regardless of whether they posed a threat to anyone. Gorsuch noted that under the government's interpretation of the law, the ban could extend beyond marijuana users to a college student who routinely uses a friend's Adderall to cram for exams, and a husband who regularly takes his wife's prescription Ambien to sleep. All right. The court found that prosecutors never alleged Timney was addicted to marijuana, had used a firearm while intoxicated, threatened anyone, or posed a danger to himself or to others. Instead, the government relied solely on his admission that he used marijuana about every other day. The opinion also questioned the government's argument that marijuana users are categorically dangerous. Well, I think that's the point of marijuana, is that it makes you not dangerous, right? It makes you docile. It is goynip, okay? And literally, it's goynip, right? It makes you docile, it makes you facile, it makes you easy to control, easy to manipulate, and it deadens your senses and like turns you into a stoner loser, right? It is the perfect goynip for the masses. So I think that's why we're going to see some restrictions lifted on certain things, okay? When the bread gets too stale, we'll roll out the drugs, okay? The opinion also questions the government's argument that marijuana users are categorically dangerous, pointing to the federal government's own actions in reducing marijuana's enforcement and efforts to move marijuana to a less restrictive drug schedule. The court noted that most states now permit some form of marijuana use. Whatever one thinks of these developments, the federal government has not just tolerated them, it helped fuel them, Gorsuch wrote. The court warned that accepting the government's theory would grant officials excessive authority to strip constitutional rights from broad categories of people, true, affording governments broad power to designate any group as dangerous and thereby disqualify its members from having a gun would risk allowing it to quickly swallow the Second Amendment. Carrie Severino, president of the Judicial Crisis Network, praised the ruling as a significant victory for gun rights. Timney, who used marijuana a few times a week, doesn't fit the historical mold of a habitual drunkard, whose rights can be limited on those grounds alone. The mismatch between the government's historical analogs and the theory on which the government defends the constitutionality of 92G3 as applied to respondent is clear, Alita wrote. The National Rifle Association, which filed an amicus brief supporting Timney, hailed the ruling as a significant Second Amendment victory. Well, good for the NRA and everybody else. So, as far as this goes, it's like, I guess some of you in the chat are probably happy about this, right? Probably like, oh, this is good for you, which again, if it's your thing, like, I wish you return to Christ and talk to a priest, but other than that, okay, I'll be happy for you for the time being. I'm just personally always annoyed that we have to appeal to like disgusting, evil, degenerate people and to Browns to get like our rights back, or to protect our rights, or to get them to stop infringing on our rights. It happens to be, well, until it affects a rich, powerful degenerate or a Brown, like it doesn't matter. They don't care. This country was built in a bar, dude. Truk. Dude, it's the meme about alcoholic societies, which is like, you know, Rome versus stoner societies. And it's like ancient Celts where they were living in like mud huts and praying to sticks. It's like, one of these things is clearly superior. Reckless Ben Snyder for 5 says, helping 2 little boys, definitely a job Richard couldn't have. Womp, womp. Poor Richard, catching pedo strays. He's not even here, dude. What the heck? That's just cruel. All right. Let's see here. Where else are we going? Is this even interesting? Let's see. Maybe it is. Actually, you know what? This is going to be interesting. I guarantee it. And by guarantee it, I know. We have
sorry guys.
Maybe a little PSA, okay? Not the PSA that you guys are thinking of, but maybe don't store expensive guns and whatnot in your car and expect them not to get broken into, okay? As much as like the concept of a truck gun sounds cool on paper, it often leads to very limited cases, but I don't always recommend it. That's a great idea. Also, I think there's technically like an ad supposed to be playing right now, but it's just the bar is just filling up, so we're just waiting for that to go, I guess. Any day now. Hello?
Area of 121st and Elm in
Nope.
Broken Arrow home for nearly a decade.
No, you're just not
But
gonna
on
play audio?
Tuesday night, thieves turned his world inside out without
Oh,
him
no,
even
you guys
knowing
are probably
until Wednesday
hearing
at a
audio.
nearby store.
And
My
so I
Music? Oh,
left Lowe's.
dude, I forgot. My apologies, guys. I forgot. My speakers turn off after like 30 minutes. So if there was music playing, I did not hear it.
My Little John has called the area of 121st and Elm in Broken Arrow home for nearly a decade. But on Tuesday night, thieves turned his world inside out without him even knowing until Wednesday at a nearby store.
And so I left Lowe's, went out to my truck to find that my wallet was gone. I'm like, okay. So I lift up the center console because I'd left my gun in there the night before. Found my gun was gone.
Ryan's backpack was missing too, with his
Actually, this ties in great to what we were just talking about with lifted trucks. Like lifted trucks, I don't see any stickers, but if he had stickers plastered all over that guy, at least he uses it. Looks like he's been out doing something with it. But if you have like stickers, a lifted truck, all the signs of a Target, right? That's Target signs. That's magnets for people looking for expensive stuff inside of a truck. Okay.
My Little John has called the area of 121st and Elm in Broken Arrow home for nearly a decade. But on Tuesday night, thieves turned his world inside out without him even knowing until Wednesday at a nearby store.
And so I left Lowe's, went out to my truck to find that my wallet was gone. I'm like, okay. So I lift up the center console because I'd left my gun in there the night before. Found my gun was gone.
Ryan's backpack was missing too, with his laptop, iPad, passport, and personal journals.
Mike's muted. Passport, wallet, gun, laptop. Why did you leave all that in there, dude? Why did you leave everything in there? What a bad idea. What a terrible idea, bro. Dude, I got it. I already got the mic. I fixed it. Don't worry about it, guys. I saw it was actually, it gives me a warning every time it detects input, but my mic is muted. It flashes like, hey, by the way, your mic is muted. So at least I saw it. Okay. I could have gone on for like 5 minutes without checking the chat. If there's a world in which I do finish out the stream on mute and the entire chat just yells at me.
Later found some scattered in neighbors' yards. Police say thieves had taken this stolen car, drove it through Little John's neighborhood, and went through his truck, which he thought was locked.
I feel like violated. You know, it's like you feel sort of dirty, like somebody went through my stuff.
Broken Arrow police say Ryan's story
Not dirty, but how about stupid? How about stupid, dude?
isn't unique. The city sees a summer spike in car break-ins.
As the temperatures go up, the outdoor activities increase, all the kids are out of school. So you'll see more people walking, exercising, doing things outside just naturally. And it is more comfortable, honestly, for criminals to be out.
The Broken Arrow Police Department has 3 things they want you to remember so you don't fall victim to a car break-in. Remove it, lock it, and report it. So before you get out of the car, always make sure to grab whatever you have that's valuable with you and take.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. Where is black people on your list? I didn't see the most important prevention stat. Remove it, lock it, report it. Would. Yeah, exactly. They didn't mention anything about the blacks. You know, it's like they're already driving a stolen car. They see your truck, which, I mean, if somebody looks into your truck and they're like, oh, look, a backpack. That looks great. Let me take a backpack. Oh, what's this? The retard left his truck unlocked. That's a wonderful backpack. Why don't I just go through the rest of your stuff real fast? Excuse me. Yeah, many woods in the chat. Many woods in the chat. I get it.
So before you get out of the car, always make sure to grab whatever you have that's valuable with you and take it with you. And once you get out, before you walk away from your car, make sure you lock it. Finally, please say if you see something or someone suspicious and think something's missing from your car, to report it immediately.
What's funny is it's like it's like me in the interview. I'm like, so when I see a black person, do I call the cops immediately? And they're like, what? It's like, yeah. When I see the thieves, I mean black people, do I just call it immediately or do I wait?
Ryan says the police believe the suspects may be teenagers.
I think it's just a few kids that are.
I hate teenagers. Oh, the teenagers. You know, the summer season comes along and they're done stabbing and they're done murdering and they're done, hooting and hollering in their classrooms, and then they just they're just let out loose on the public all summer long. These teenagers. I hate teenagers so much. Yeah, also that is a very good point, Anderson Silva. Report it so the cops can tell you they can do nothing about it. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think. I've never had anything stolen of major value. I've only ever had to file like one police report in my life, but everybody else that I've ever talked to who has filed a police report has never gotten anything back, like ever. It just seems like a wasted endeavor. You should just go out there and like try to find the person and kill them. I mean, reacquire your stuff on your own, because you'd probably have a much better chance of getting it back than just magically waiting for the police to show up with it one day.
Ryan says the police believe the suspects may be teenagers.
I think it's just a few kids that are thinking that this is fun and it's an expensive for other people, but it's going to lead them nowhere.
I'm your Broken Arrow reporter, Emma Birch, 2 News, Oklahoma.
Share what you think.
Emma Birch. That is a weird photo right there. Not gonna lie, it's giving me some Uncanny Valley vibes here. Now, okay, this one's just funny to me, right? I'm gonna be careful with this one, but this is one of the wackiest shootouts of all time. Okay, we have a woman defending her puppies, and man, just everything about it. Okay, it's pit bull mixes. It's a green Challenger. It's an ARP with no stock. Just get a load of this, okay? Just get a load of this. Also, many teenagers involved in this video.
It was like a scene out of a movie, a gun battle over pricey exotic dogs. This woman, in fear for her and her girlfriend.
And they're lesbians. It's so good. Every element of this story, right? This is like a 2015 Key and Peele skit, right? 2 lesbians defending their hyper expensive, dog mixed breeds, whatever they are, defend their Challenger with an ARP against the hoodlums, right? This is a comedy sketch. Yeah, exotic pit bulls. I don't know, dude. This is a comedy sketch here. That's what this is. This isn't real life anymore.
It was like a scene out of a movie, a gun battle over pricey exotic dogs. This woman, in fear for her and her girlfriend's life, is forced to fire after a group of young men start shooting at her.
We gotta knock on.
Dude, it's young men. Young men. What type of young men? What color are the young men? Yeah, men are so violent. What type of men? What type of men? You know what's funny is actually, Jim Eagle, that's a good point. This is the libertarian's wet dream. So this is the meme, isn't it? It is the lesbian weed farmers defending their hybrid pug pit bulls with fully automatic ARPs. Yes, this is actually the libertarian meme become real. And it's actually a hellscape, right? It is actually a hellscape. It is ethnics trying to rob and murder puppies from lesbians. Like, this is just a hellscape. I see this neighborhood, I see these people, and I'm like, oh, the libertarian wet dream is hell. It's hell. Yeah. No, the libertarian end state, it's hell. I don't want to live there. No, thank you, libertarians.
On the door. The 3 young men you can clearly see in this
Oh shit, man, we did shit, man. It's summertime, man. Trying to get his fucking money with these people, man. Dude, shit. You don't want to get away, man? Come on.
Video went to the woman's West Park home around 7:30. She breeds exotic dogs, and she figured they were there to inquire about them.
As soon as I turn around, that's when he grabbed me.
One of the men then grabbed the woman, holding her at gunpoint. There was a struggle.
Other guy that was standing here wanted to put his arm around me.
No mask, not trying to hide their identity, just no fear, just a retarded person, right? Right, YouTube, this is a person on screen. Grok, is this a human? Grok, okay, tell me, I need to know, Grok, is this a human on screen? Can you confirm if this is a human or not on screen, please?
On me, put the gun to my head, and then I started screaming, trying to wiggle myself out.
The trio take off with 2 exotic micro bullies, similar to the dogs you see here.
It's why? It's so gross, isn't it? Like micro bullies, these dogs are like unhealthy AF to begin with, right? And then you're breeding them like smaller and smaller on purpose. Like this should just be considered animal cruelty, right? Like this is just animal cruelty. Like you're breeding these dogs for a life of pain and misery, and you're also giving them to black people. Maybe you shouldn't be doing that part. Maybe that part's probably the most cruel, to be honest, right? Is you're giving them to black people, selling them to black people, because who else is buying these things, right? It's just animal cruelty, right?
They're worth about $4,000 each. The robbers don't.
I need to sell one of those dogs so I can pick up that new Staccato, okay? $4 grand? $4 grand. Compulsive gun buyer, James. Well, I hope you're doing well. That doesn't sound like fun. Says, I got jumped by an urban youth today. Somebody in the chat was just saying, why can't this ever happen to me? Well, James, you got to let me know. Did you dispense justice immediately? Or did you hand him $20 and say, get out of here? Like, I need to know. This is a full story, James. What the heck happened, man?
Leave quietly.
Skill issue. Yeah, I live in South Dakota, so I don't have to deal with the skill issue.
With about $4,000 each. The robbers don't leave quietly either. They shoot at the woman, and that's when she goes into her home to grab her gun.
I would have done anything to protect my girl.
Yes, so investigators say not face any charges.
Hey, that's not. Dang it. Compulsive gun buyer says, correction, he helped me starting my car. He was very nice. Boo. Yeah, ban James. Was it predestined? Says Dio. That's great. Boo. Lame. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Anyways, dude, we got to watch this one more time, right? This is the lesbians defending their $4,000 backyard puppies from the urban youths.
It was like a scene out of a movie, a gun battle over pricey exotic dogs. This woman, in fear for her and her girlfriend's life, is forced to fire after a group of young men start shooting at her.
We gotta knock on the door.
The 3 young men.
Three young men. 3 young men who didn't do nothing. Oh, dude, yeah, also no charges for the girl. No charges for the lesbian who literally shot up her neighborhood. She did more damage. She did more damage to her neighborhood than the other guys did. The urban youth did. I mean, yeah. All right. Where are we moving to next? What are we looking at? No, I don't want. That's just rage bait. Do I want to go through rage bait tonight, or can we just not have rage bait for 1 minute? Okay, fine. We'll do UK rage bait, okay? Which isn't that much today. Actually, maybe a white pill. It's a white pill Wednesday on Saturday, I know. But anyways, Keir Starmer is officially set to resign as prime minister. Several media reports he'll outline a resignation timetable on Monday after consulting with his wife and family today. So Keir Starmer is the prime minister of the UK for the time being till Monday or a little bit after that. I think Labour will still be in power over there, at least until the next election cycle. So it's not really like anything is going to change with Keir Starmer out. You know, maybe a couple of things will improve slightly. I think he's just completely radioactive for the party. The fact that he profited off of the rape of 250,000 of his young countrymen. So, I mean, honestly, I don't really want his resignation. I think resignation is a little too kind for some of these people who are, of course, traitors, and you should remove traitors before invaders. Task Force Tater says, isn't their last PM step down too? I actually think the last 5 have stepped down / been removed. I think it's been like the last 5 or 6. It's been a lot of them in a row because it started back in like, I want to say 2013. There's just been a string of like every single one has resigned. Like literally every single one has resigned since like 2013. Or maybe there's only been one that's been removed democratically. Yeah, 8 PMs in 6 years. Yeah, it's a revolving door of who's the PM over there right now. It's actually bad. I'm a joke of a country, joke of a political system. But on top of that, there was this outrage over the last couple of days, rightfully so, because of course we have been released the private investigation into the United Kingdom rape gangs, where they estimate roughly 250,000 young British girls were raped by and gang raped by Pakistani Muslims, 95% Muslims. And this was allowed, covered up, profited off of. The cops in a lot of instances were ambivalent to the plight of these young girls, sometimes even helping the gang rapists, these animal abusers that should no longer be alive. And this is another story that came out a couple days ago. A 3-year-old boy thrown into a crocodile enclosure in random attack. The 3-year-old boy has been thrown into a crocodile enclosure by a 30-year-old man and mauled in what police are treating as a random attack. The man has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. Notice they are not naming him. I wonder why. A toddler nearly killed in a crocodile enclosure, a suspect in custody, and still the public are left asking who this man is and why this happened. What happened to transparency? Now, if you guys remember, this is actually pretty similar to an incident that happened here in the United States where I think it was a 3-year-old boy, a 5-year-old boy was just hanging out in the Mall of America, and a black man walked up to him and threw him off like a 3rd-story balcony, 2nd-story balcony, like unprovoked, no reason, saw a white kid and was like, oh, I can kill this white kid, and just picked him up and threw him off the thing. You see these people committing heinous acts of violence all the time. All the time. It's absolutely disgusting. Random. Now, again, it says that the man and child are not believed to be known to each other. So it is completely random. Completely random, I'm sure. Now, in the white pill news, okay, the white pill as promised, we have when the Scots begin to hate, okay? I don't believe he did, mate. A Scottish man, went on an anti-Muslim rampage with an axe. Based. Okay, listen, all right, as a Campbell myself, this brings a warmth to my heart, okay? And this is honestly, this is the moderate solution, is a little bit of violence, and we just incentivize them to go home. That's all. We're just incentivizing them to leave. That's it, okay? It's just a little bit of an incentive. The Scot says, I'm protecting my country from these effing Muslim bastards raping our young daughters. Based, right? Scottish doing what needs to be done here. A little bit of alcohol was certainly involved here, I'm sure. But I like how he's just going out. He's just going out and about, and he's going to just find some ethnics and, cause a little bit of mayhem, okay? Which is funny, right? Because this is obviously like, I don't condone violence on a YouTube channel. I would never do that, right? Personally, I would never do that. But I think that this is a necessary consequence of them allowing millions of these uncultured peoples into our countries and communities and allowing them to run rampant over us, there will naturally be a violent response to this sort of thing. There'll be a natural pushback, which is exactly what this is. So again, when you allow Pakistani Muslims or just Muslims in general to rape 250,000 white British girls, I think a few of you getting attacked here and there is a rather proportionate response, or honestly, rather unproportionate in how kind of a response that is, right? Rather, yeah, he needs the blue paint, but it's a very, very kind response. Honestly, it's like what, one guy going on, you get to rape 250,000 girls and you get like a car burned and a couple people get stabbed. Like that's the response, like pretty minor response. Okay. Pretty minor response. Now, if it continues, then I expect the responses to become more and more proportionate, which I don't think they would appreciate. It's just, well, again, it's just one guy doing what he has to do. 5 injured in bloody machete rampage by maniac allegedly targeting Muslims in Scotland. And Clay Martin says, by maniac, they mean patriot. Patriot. Again, this is just, if I had to guess, this is just a tiny little inkling of people getting fed up with their government in Europe. And I have said this many times, but I think the first country to make a major change in the correct direction to make re-immigration or expulsion a reality will be a European country, not America. America will not. We're way worse off demographically. You know, we're like, if you cut out boomers, America's like 45% white. European, America is. If you cut off boomers. So we're way worse off demographically. And we're so much further spread out. I mean, there are large swaths of America where it's just not America, right? So, I mean, like, we have a way harder job than like Scotland, which is like 93% white, right? It's barely a rounding error. Okay. You'll barely even miss them when they're gone. It's like a little rounding error. Just, I don't know. We lost like some people sometime. I don't know what happened. Anyways, you know, there's other countries that will absolutely do the thing first before we do. I guarantee it. And again, I'm not saying it's happening tomorrow. I'm not saying it's happening in the next year or two. Maybe in the next decade, maybe the next 2 decades, probably, especially if the 80-year curse holds out. Polly B for 2 says N. And what, huh? Thank you, Polly B. Appreciate that, good sir. Thank you. Ireland could be Ireland. Ireland's showing some good fight. Absolutely. Ireland is a real possibility. What is Crackalectica? Yeah. Here you go. That's actually a good one. I can show this one. This one I can show on screen, Crackalectica. All right. This is, yeah. Instead of the I hate neighbors or whatever it happens to be, it's the I appreciate the Scottish man. See, Scottish men, we don't get enough appreciation, okay? But we're here. We're doing our thing, okay? It'll be all right. Billions, you say. I didn't say billions. Like, really, like it's a little bit. It's a minor persecution, okay? Like a couple 100,000, like 250K. 270, like it's not that many. It's really not. Like the amount of violence it takes to make big things happen is shockingly low a lot of the times, right? Anyways, so let's see here. What else do we got? I think that's it. Okay, we're gonna end on a bit of a white pill, just making sure that I am caught up everywhere. Thank you guys for hanging out on a off schedule, well, makeup stream, I suppose, Saturday night. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you. Hope you guys are getting ready to go to church tomorrow, okay? Because real change, I know it's easy to be angry. It's easy to, take the black pill, and it's easy to like check out on everything, but that's not the point, okay? The point of life is to honor Christ in all that we do. And to do that, we have to submit to his will. And his will is that we lay down our lives for those that we love, right? No greater love has any than those who lay down their lives for a friend. So I think that is what we're commanded to do. And to protecting our families, protecting our nations, creating strong nations, creating strong families. I think that it is our goal in life. And it might be a long, difficult, often boring, grinding road, but it is our duty to bear that weight. So I hope that you guys all have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for hanging out. Always remember, Christ is King. God bless. Godspeed, gentlemen. Go to church tomorrow. Love you all. Bye.